I'm a psychologist, and I'm going to teach you how to actually get someone to change. So a lot of people don't know about this, and I see a lot of people out there trying to change people in a way that is not actually conducive to psychological change. So the techniques I'm going to share with you come from motivational interviewing. This is essentially the gold standard in helping people change these days. So one thing you have to understand about change is that the way the human mind works is that we always have ambivalence to change. And ambivalence is a technical term. What it means is that essentially there's one part of us that wants to change, and then there's one part of us that doesn't want to change. And you can always hear this in conversations with people. So there's going to be one kind of sentence or set of sentences that they say that are like, yeah, I really should start exercising. I know it's good for me. But at the same time, I'm so busy and I don't even know where to start. So here you see the kind of ambivalence. That's what that means, that we have two sides. And what happens is that usually these two sides are balanced. And so there's the same amount on this side and the same amount on this side, and that results in no change because they need to be imbalanced for change to happen. So on one side, we have what we call change talk. So that's I really should start exercising. I care about my health and I know it would be good for me. On the other side, we have sustain talk. And that is kind of but I don't really have time. I don't know where to start and it feels really overwhelming. So we have change talk, we have sustain talk. Usually these are somewhat balanced, and that's why change doesn't happen. So when you're talking with someone, you're going to hear change talk and you're going to hear sustain talk. And what most of us do is we try to give advice, or we try to diminish, we try to kind of almost judge it. We try to say oh no, exercising is really good for you. You should just start, don't worry about being too busy, blah, blah, blah. We kind of try to pressure them into it. This is not the way people change. This is not effective. You've probably tried and you've seen it fail. This just doesn't work. And maybe you've even had someone do it to you, and you know that when someone does that, you feel resistant. You're stop telling me what to do. And then you kind of just go do whatever you want. So when it comes to actually changing people in a sustainable manner, what we want to do is we want to diminish the sustain talk and we want to amplify the change talk. And what that looks like is that typically we want to use statements that kind of reiterate what they said back to them. So if someone is speaking with you and they say, I really want to start exercising, I know it's good for me, but at the same time, I'm so busy, I don't even know when I would fit it in. What you would do is you wouldn't ask questions. You wouldn't start drilling them on the benefits of exercise. You wouldn't start telling them what, actually, you're not too busy. I saw you just sitting on the couch for an hour the other day. None of that. That doesn't help people change. What you actually want to do is you want to kind of just reiterate what they said to them, but in such a way that allows for them to amplify their change talk. So what that usually looks like is you can kind of reiterate back to them both of those statements. You can say it sounds like you're really busy, but at the same time, you really value your health and you're considering starting to exercise again or for the first time. And so essentially what we want to do is we typically want to add the change talk statement at the end, because people usually remember better the last statement. So when you reiterate kind of both of these statements, the sustain talk and the change talk, you want to use the sustain talk sentence first. You want to use the change talk sentence second. And then just let it be. Let them say what they need to say next. People know they need to change. And essentially what they need is to kind of organize their thoughts, have an empathic kind of ear, and then shift that balance of sustain talk and change talk. And the shift doesn't have to be that drastic. It doesn't have to be you being you know what, if you don't exercise, you're really going to be in horrible health and all these bad things are going to happen. No. What they need is a gentle, subtle shift in the change talk and sustain talk. And this type of technique is used to change people that are really in dire situations. Like, this is essentially the best way we have to change people, and hopefully this will help you change someone that needs kind of maybe a little bit of help in moving up their change talk and diminishing their sustain talk, so that they can do what they know is good for them and they can change their lives for the better.